Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita, mi ritrovai per una selva oscura. Buongiorno! My name is Gabriel. I speak some languages, and today I would like to answer the question, how hard is it to learn Italian? And I got my Colosseum here. I got it in Rome when I was 13 years old. Not that long ago. So I will talk about how hard it is to learn Italian. While I will primarily talk about learning Italian from the perspective of an English speaker, I'll also talk a little bit about learning Italian for someone who speaks some Spanish. For native speakers of Romance languages, French, Spanish, Portuguese, it will be a bit easier to learn Italian. But I guess what I'll say will be useful for most learners. So what is my level in Italian? I believe that I'm currently at around a B2 level. I consider myself fluent. Anyway, so just like with any other Romance languages, Italian has two genders, masculine and feminine, for nouns. If you've seen my video for French, I'll say the same thing. Basically, whenever you learn new words, it's a good idea for you to learn them along with the gender. Italian grammar can be a bit difficult for native English speakers. However, if you use good strategies to tackle the grammar, it should not be too complicated. One thing that makes Italian a bit easier to learn than French is the pronunciation. You really read Italian the way it's written. Of course, it will take a little while to develop great pronunciation in Italian for many people. However, pronunciation shouldn't be too much an issue. Verb conjugations. Of course, verb conjugations are going to be a bit difficult for learners of Italian coming from different backgrounds. I think that it's really important for you to use plenty of examples. If you make a lot of sentences employing the grammar rules that you want to master, and you review those sentences frequently, you should be able to learn them without much struggle, without much stress. The past in Italian is similar to French. It's similar to passé composé in French. So for example, if I want to say I spoke, we use a compound tense in Italian. You say ho parlato. It sounds a bit like I have spoken, but in Italian, ho parlato means I spoke. That is a cause for confusion for many native English speakers. However, with practice, it's not that bad. And I would argue that it's actually somewhat simple because of the fact that as long as you know how to conjugate the verb to have or the verb to be, depending on the verb, you just need to know one way to conjugate it to get the past. For example, ho parlato, hai parlato, abbiamo parlato. So the parlato doesn't change, just the auxiliary, which makes it a little bit easier, which is great. It's worth to note that there are many different dialects in Italy. And of course, most people will speak the regular Italian. There are many different accents in Italy, and some of them may be harder to understand than others. Developing good understanding, of course, will depend on listening. And like I always mentioned, I think that it's important to do listening along with text. If you have text and audio, that makes it easier. A lot of people think that Spanish and Italian are very, very similar. There are many similarities. However, there are many differences. Articles in Italian can be a bit more difficult. There is plenty of different vocabulary, words that are totally different in Spanish and Italian, and there are many false friends, false cognates. If you do speak Spanish, you will have some advantage compared to someone who doesn't speak Spanish or a similar language when you're learning Italian. However, you will see that there are many things that you're going to need to learn. A lot of new vocabulary, a lot of new things. For example, in Italian, guardare means to look at. Guardar in Spanish means to keep. Subire in Italian means to endure. Subir in Spanish means to go up or to raise. Pronto in Italian means ready. Pronto in Spanish means soon. There are also many words in English that will be similar to Italian. That way you can, of course, learn a lot of vocabulary that way. Between English and Italian, there are also false cognates. For example, estate in Italian means summer. It doesn't mean estate. Morbido doesn't mean morbid. It means soft. So there are many words that you can pick up in Italian that are pretty similar to English. However, you gotta be careful. Sometimes it will look like a word, but it will be something else. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are considering learning Italian, I hope you do It's a gorgeous language. There are so many awesome works of literature and everything else in Italian. And good luck learning Italian.